Are you a property owner and a landlord here in California? Are the injustices of the eviction moratoriums, rent control, and tenant welfare just getting old? Are you tired of all the one-sided news we've been hearing this past year about how COVID and statewide shutdowns have affected tenants? But what about property owners and housing providers? Seems like things are awfully one-sided these days. California's landlords are being forced to subsidize tenants. They're enduring losses with little or no help from government agencies. Our state continues on this path of favoring the tenant's rights over your rights as a property owner and a landlord. Thanks for taking the time to tune in and get caught up. So, here's the latest need-to-know info for investment property owners. I'm Lynnor Anderson, one half of a father and daughter realtor team right here in San Diego. My dad, Lyle, and I really appreciate all of your support. So please be sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with other like-minded property owners. As investors ourselves, we know how important it is to stay on top of all of the latest changes. Be sure to click that link down in the comments below. That way you get our free monthly Apartment Investors Market Report. Now let's get to it. What landlord resources are actually available to you? Where can you get expert guidance, advice on all of the ever-changing laws, and solutions to your problems? Plus, political backing from organizations that actually support you as a property owner. Well, take a nice deep breath because we've got you covered. We're going to cover 5 landlord resources that can help you right now. You're going to want to stick around for the last item. You actually are just not going to even believe the proposal, or as I'm going to call it, the carrot that Governor Newsom is dangling to try and help landlords just in time to save his butt before the recall vote this fall. Last week, we got a call from a friend who's attended our investor events here in San Diego over the years. She's this spunky gal in her early 80s, and she's retired from her former day job, but by no means is she actually retired. She property manages her 20-plus units all over San Diego County. She's handling the day-to-day activities, and she's living off of her cash flow, all from her hard work she's put into her investment properties through the years. Sounds familiar, right? Well, she tells me she's had it. She's been part of this rental industry for the past 40 plus years, and she relies on the rental income for her retirement. She's been really fortunate throughout the pandemic. Only one of her tenants hasn't been able to pay rent in the last year, with COVID being the reason. She tells me that she's working with the local and county offices to get the tenant some assistance. Although it's slow and tedious, she is hoping that maybe she'll be able to recoup some of this lost rent payments. So she asked me why the rental industry as a whole hasn't filed a class action lawsuit with the state of California. Surely she can't be the only one who feels that she's being denied her property rights, while this industry that she's been part of for the last 40 plus years is being destroyed. My obvious answer is yes, she's right. With rent control, eviction moratoriums, and anything else that the government can pass, many of the property owners and the landlords that we talk with feel the same way. They're losing control of their properties. No one's advocating for them. How about a moratorium on the state's property tax? Oh, and then you've got insurance, utility bills, or repairs, at least until owners are able to get their properties under control. She asked a great question. Is everyone just afraid to challenge the laws all coming out of the federal, state, and local governments? Yes, class action lawsuits cost big bucks, but there are a handful of landlord and tenant resources out there currently that can help you right now. First item is a leader and a resource for the apartment owners here in California, AOA, or the Apartment Owners Association. They offer you a yearly membership for $79. You get their monthly magazine. It's chocked full of great timely articles and information, and it's available online too. They had guest speakers and events prior to COVID, and now they do that as a Zoom. They'll have a low-cost membership, tenant screening, property management forms, and a helpline with property management advice. It's well worth a membership cost. Plus, you'll love to hear They're political activists on your behalf. They're one of the largest groups of property owners in the state, and they're dedicated to winning back the American economic system. Things like free enterprise and correcting the injustices of eviction, tenant welfare, rent control, and taxation laws. What a concept, right? The second resource I want to mention is the CAA, or the California Apartment Association, another membership-based resource. Their membership cost is based on the amount of property you own and what county that property is located in. See, they provide members easy access to compliance information and forms, along with advocacy and education. They help you comply with laws and regulations, the ones you need to understand to protect you and your rental housing business. They also offer online forums and a helpline with advisors and attorneys, which is so important to you. I mean, who really has time to keep up with all of the changes coming out of Sacramento these days for landlords? Plus, your dues help fund the California Apartment Association's Political Action Committee. They're supporting candidates that support the rental housing industry. Makes sense, doesn't it? Resource number 3, if you haven't heard yet, is some great news for landlords and tenants who need rent relief. On March 15th, the Rental Assistance Payment Program of California opened up, and it's through a HOUSINGISKE.com website where tenants and landlords can apply for rental assistance. If it's health-related or a significant financial hardship, it doesn't matter. California COVID-19 rent relief will help income-eligible households pay rent and utilities, and this is for both past due and future payments. The funds are coming from the Federal Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. So as a landlord, you're going to need to show proof of ownership, your mortgage information, and a rental agreement for the unit that you're requesting help for, and you're going to have to be working with your tenant for this program. Landlords are not able to just apply on their own and get assistance. Resource number 4 is right here in San Diego County. There are funds for rent relief here as well. So you go to County.gov, and there your tenants can apply for county emergency rent and utilities assistance. Remember, this site is geared towards tenants, and all the applicants are going to be screened, then prioritized based on income, single-parent households, and health eligibility. All of the eligibility criteria is spelled right out on the site. There's a caveat for landlord participation, and it's just like there is in the state program. Once a landlord agrees to the program, the county's going to compensate 80% of eligible household rental debts, and that's based on the accumulated rents from April of last year to March of this year. Landlords must forgive the remaining debt and agree to accept the 80% as payment in full. Suppose a landlord decides not to participate. The county can still compensate 25% of the tenant's monthly rent from April of 2020 to March of 2021. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out. Some owners are actually just going to be amazed. On May 10th, 2021, Governor Newsom announced his new plan. He will be providing rental housing providers with 100% of rent that's owed to them. Here it is, folks. Resource number 5, and it is a big one. Governor Newsom announced that California is going to be receiving an additional $2.6 billion from the federal government, and he plans to use that to heal the property owners, and that would bring the total federal rent aid to $5.2 billion here in California. See, Newsom's intentions are to use the new funds to pay the rental housing providers. It's to pay all of the rental debts attributed to the pandemic. Get this, it's retroactive and moving forward. And the 2 programs that I mentioned above at the state and the county level, they're limited. See, they committed landlords to only receiving 80% of their past due rents. Thus, the landlord or the property owner had to absorb a 20% debt. So, what's been done since the governor's May 10th press release? Very little, from what I can tell. When will this go into effect? Who knows? Hopefully soon, though. You have groups like the CAA and the AOA chomping at the bit to work with the governor on this one. They want to make it a reality for both the tenants and the property owners, and we want to see it happen too. We all agree, tenant welfare on your back is wrong. You worked hard for your properties, and many of you are like my dad, spending a lifetime to accumulate and grow your family's wealth. You have the right to be successful at your rental housing business. We love providing you with expert guidance and the need-to-know info so you can continue to grow your family's wealth through investment property. And if you want to know what your property's worth in the seller's market, or if it's time for you to sell or buy here in San Diego, you need to contact us right now. The only way that we can help you is when you call, text, or email us. Right now, there are a few other videos popping up on the screen. Check them out next. But before you do, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. That way you are notified every time we put out a new video.